Welcome to today's webinar. Before we start this webinar, we'd like to introduce you the EU SME Center. The EU SME Center is a European-funded project. We are in the second phase right now, and is implemented by 6 partners: the China-Britain Business Council, the French Chamber of Commerce, BenCham, Eurochams, the Italian Chamber of Commerce, and the European Chamber of Commerce. For today's webinar training, we have a very interesting topic. We're quite hot, in fact, and it's regarding the barriers to enter the Chinese e-commerce market. This the training is quite hot because recently the Chinese government has released the new e-commerce law, and today we will have Daniel Albrecht that will tell us what are the opportunities that e-commerce brings for European SMEs, but also what are the restrictions and the barriers that they have to take into consideration before using this channel to sell products to the Chinese market. Let me introduce you Daniel. Daniel Albrecht is a German attorney at law, and he has been running Starke since 2014. He is a well-known lawyer here in Beijing, especially in the European Chamber and also German Chamber and the EU SMEs Center. He specializes in labor law, IPR law, and he's also a guest professor for civil law at the China University of Political Science and Law in Beijing. Before coming to China, he was in Japan, also working for a law firm, and after he moved to China, working for a big Chinese law firm, and now for Starke. And now please let me welcome Daniel, who will start this training.
So also only warmly welcome from my side. Let's take a look over the agenda for today. First, I will introduce the e-commerce worldwide, then we come to the Chinese e-commerce market, then we talk about the key growth drivers, and later to the main topic about the barriers to entry for foreign SMEs. Let's talk first a little bit over the numbers. China is a quite important e-commerce market. It is actually the biggest e-commerce market on the world. If we're talking about e-commerce, we should first define what is e-commerce. E-commerce is the exchange of goods and services over different borders. The e-commerce market worldwide reached in 2014 the number of 1.5 trillion US dollar. This number is actually not statistically proved, but it is, I think, the work out of quite a lot of different market evaluations here. The growth rate of the e-commerce worldwide is quite big, and it will be, I think, for every smaller and medium-sized company more and more important into the future. Anyway, okay, let's take a look over the numbers of the global e-commerce sales forecast for the next years. You see we have here a really impressive increase about the numbers. If you take a look over the Chinese e-commerce market at the moment, the last statistics here are from 2016. The e-commerce in China hit about 91,724 billion yuan in 2015. This is up from 79,657.9 billion yuan in 2014. You can see it's quite a big increase here only during 1 year. The Chinese e-commerce market will be in 2020 so big like the e-commerce market of the US, Britain, Japan, Germany and France together. So it is a market where you should be with your company. So there are actually 4 key growth drivers here in China. One are the e-commerce platforms, then we have the social media platforms, the digital payment platforms, and also the mobile devices. To take a look over the e-commerce platforms, in fact, you have 2 kind of categories here. You have the direct purchase platforms in the marketplaces. At the direct purchase platforms, you have GD as a dominant market with a dominant share value, and they have a market share of 58.3%. At the marketplace, the dominant key company is Alibaba with Tmall and Tmall Global. They hold a share with about 55.7%. In fact, you should try to use both channels. The biggest difference here is that the direct purchase direction, that here the platform buys the goods from you directly and then sell it to the customers, and at the marketplace option you sell it directly to the customers through your own marketplace. You see, we have quite a lot of different e-commerce channels here in China. It is very complicated to have an overview for foreigners. What is maybe the right channel for your company to sell your goods? Here you should engage a professional company who is aware about the difficulties here on the market and who can see actually in what kind of market shop you should place your products. Otherwise, it is nearly impossible for you to find your customers in China. Here you can also see at this graph how important the local market drivers are, because if you take a look at the market share of Amazon have only a market piece of 2.7%, what is really, let's say, quite unimportant. It is totally different from the European and American market. Here you see Tmall and JD are really the platforms where you must be if you like to be successful here at the market. Also important here are in China the social medias. The mostly dominant platform here is WeChat. Nearly everybody in China knows WeChat and use WeChat. And WeChat have also the option that you can register a company account here. This is a quite good opportunity to reach directly your potential customers over this social media channel. WeChat is a little bit like a combination of WhatsApp and Facebook. You have a communication system and you have also a timeline, and you also can place commercials at the timeline of your followers or also for potential customers. What is quite important is if you want to run your own WeChat account here as a company account, you need to have a company what is registered in China. Otherwise, it will be impossible to register here such an account. At this connected to this platform are also payment systems. Here we have WeChat Pay. Very popular is also Alipay. In China you can nearly pay with this both payment system everything. If you go to a restaurant or outside, it is possible to pay here with this payment system. Also, if you take a look how many people use it, it is really impressive. We're talking here about 527 million users, and this rate's growing quickly. So if you want to be successful here, you should really think about how to implement this payment system also in your online shop or your app or whatever, so that customers are able to pay here with this kind of payment systems. Here that is one of the main, I think, important points here, that you have a strategy. If you come to China, you see you need to think about a lot of difficulties and things that are different from your home market. So you need to have an online to offline O2O strategy called. So you must stay consistent, you need to make a cross-sell promotion and follow trends. That means you need to be with your products on different channels, use so much channels as possible, and also follow trends. Here in China we have quite a lot of important dates where a lot of goods are sold or selling, like the 11/11 or the Valentine's Day and so on. These days are peaks here in the market where Chinese buying like crazy. So if you want to sell your products, you need to have a special decoration for your online shop for this day. You need to place special offers and so on. So if you are here on the market, please take a look around, get information and see how you can use these trends and these habits to make a good business. Okay, let's coming to the big differences in China. You need to know China is a very big country. I think that's obvious, but what is here a little bit special is that you have a couple of different cities. You have 1 to 4 tier cities with people with totally different income rates and needs. You have a couple of different folks in China with different backgrounds, also religious backgrounds, and so on. So you need, if you want to get on the market here, you need to target your potential customers very carefully, special if you also want to find customers in other directions. You need to be aware that their income value is much different from that in the big cities, for example, and also their needs and their knowledge about foreign brands. So in first-tier cities, the knowledge about foreign brands is quite high. People love foreign brands and like also to show them. In second cities and third-tier cities, it's a little bit different. People have often not they are often not so wealthy to buy this kind of products, and they are more orientated in local products. So, but also in the future, this population will become a huge market. We're talking here also about 600, 700 million people. So you need to find a strategy how to approach here these different kind of groups. Okay, let's come to our main topic today, the barriers to entry the Chinese e-commerce market. And let's start with the legal and tax aspects here. You need to know that the Chinese government issued a couple of regulations during the last years about the Chinese e-commerce market, and this starts actually at April 8, 2016. To say it in general, the most two important points here are the positive lists about e-commerce activities, and the second part is related to the tax policy here. We're coming to the details of this later. Very important to know is that this actually this kind of regulations are expired, and we are now here in the transition period, what will end at November 12, 2017. So we are all looking forward what coming after this transition period, or if the government also decided to extend this transition period here again. During the last months, we got a very interesting announcement from the spokesman of the spokesman from the MOFCOM. He give us an overview and statement how to act with e-commerce sales here during the next couple of months. Very interesting was the sentence that the supervision mode of cross-border e-commerce retail import remains stable of the whole at the present stage, and the cross-border e-commerce retail imports commodities are supervised as personal belongings. So that is the status quo. How to define this in detail is also for us at the moment not totally clear, because there are not additional explanations about this kind of definitions. Here you also need to be aware that we have in the future a new supervision mode of this kind of cross-border e-commerce, and this will be started in a couple of pilot zones that included 15 cities, and most of these cities are in the east of China. What happened after this supervision agreement, we will see in January 2018, and after this transition period. You need to know that we have special regulations for a couple of goods here in China. So if you want to sell food, infant formula, cosmetic, medical devices, or healthy food here in China, you need to follow different kind of regulations. So you see for the food, it shall comply with the food safety law. For infant formula, must obtain a formula registration on certification from the China Food and Drug Administration. Same is with cosmetics. You need to have a registration. Medical devices must be registered with the CFDA. And what is healthy food is also on a kind of positive list. So if you are dealing here with this kind of products, please check here the regulations. Also the SME Center provide quite a lot of information about these difficult products. If you have no knowledge about these regulations, you can get this here also over the center. Also difficulties are here with organic products. So if you want to sell something as an organic product, it is not enough that you have an organic certificate in your home country. You also need to have a certification here in China. And to get this organic food certification is quite difficult, and a lot of companies failed to get this kind of certificates during the past. So it is at this reason, I think, always not a good idea to go alone through this whole process. Here also it is better to engage a service company what is quite familiar with the process and help you here in China to certify your organic products. So now we are coming to, I think, one of the most interesting aspects here of the changes. That is all what is connected to taxation issues. So before, if you sent something to China, you had a tax allowance of 50 RMB per piece. Now it is also a little bit changed. Yeah? Before you have a single per case, what not is more than 1,000 yuan. Now you have no more than 1,000 yuan, but you have also annual per case what is not more than 20,000 yuan. The reason is, in fact, that a lot of people bought different stuff abroad in small pieces, not in with the intention not to pay taxes and other things here at the customer service. If you take a look at the for personal parcels, here the rates are a little bit different, but the Chinese customer service will also take a closer eye on these things, what you are sending here around. So if you are acting from abroad and you want to send the goods to customers in China, it is actually not quite a good idea to do this over the vehicle of the personal parcel, because if your customers later get in trouble, it will also not so good for your business. Okay, let's don't forget, again, we have this transition period here, and also all kind of these aspects are here in accordance to this transition period. You see quite also connected to this kind of taxation issues, that you have now other borders of poor cases connected to tax rates. Before, if you send products here what are not more costly than 500 RMB, you had a tax rate of 0%. Now it is 11.9%, and same is for goods about 500 RMB. So the reason is that the Chinese customer service and the government saw that people here really buy sometimes tons of small products and sell it here into the local market to where the local taxes. At this reason, you have here now the same tax rate for every kind of products in the future. Don't forget, you have the annually tax border here of 20,000 RMB. Yeah, all what is higher gets problematic. So if you run an online shop and you sell products here to the Chinese market, please try also to do a record what kind of products you send here to individuals, that you have later no problems with the customer service at all. Let's coming to the awarenesses of the Chinese market. Again, we have a growing middle class here in China. What is at the moment there with a number of about 295 billion US dollar in online sales. So it is quite important group. You see, we will have here in the Chinese market in the future a greater demand for services and other experiences. The foreign brand still holds the leadership position in the premium segments, but also Chinese brands are more and more important. We have more and more well-known Chinese brands here in the market, like Haier, Huawei, Hisense, and so on. They sell also quite good products and have during the Chinese nearly the same reputation like the foreign products. On the land side, maybe sometimes a better reputation, because there the consumers are not familiar with foreign brands at all. Let's coming to another number, what is here connected to the internet. We have 8 million citizens who are connected to the internet in China. You see, also this is a huge number. The internet here in China is also, I think, quite unique, because we're talking here in China from the Great Firewall. Why we call this the Great Firewall? The reason is that the Chinese government is a master of censorship here in China. It is sometimes very difficult to get informations out and to get informations in. So Google also was or is blocked. Now Google will enter the Chinese market again, but what kind of functions we don't know. Let's think that maybe also a couple of functions from these search engines will be blocked in the future. So at this reason, you need to know how you can reach your customers here on the Chinese market. And be aware, because the political trends are going more to the direction to close the internet and not to open the internet. So it will be for customers quite difficult to go to your website if you have a website what is not hosted in China. So at this reason, it is quite important that if you're getting here to the market, that you host your own CN registered Chinese website. To get this kind of website, it's not so easy at all. You must to submit the following steps. One is the completed CN registration form, then the copy of your business license, a copy of your signature national ID. And you need to follow the following criteria. You must be an enterprise, legal person, or an institution. You have a registered capital of not less than 1 million RMB. So that means, in fact, first you need to run a company here in China, otherwise you are not able to register a website. And second is you need to have a company with 1 million RMB plus. So that means if you are not wealthy enough to invest this kind of capital, it will be quite tricky for you to register your own website here. Some people doing this over Hong Kong vehicles. This is actually, in my point of view, not the best way at all. You can run an internet presence also over Hong Kong. It's Chinese speaking then, but it's still technically outside of China, so the connection is not so well like if you have your website inside China, and especially if you have big pictures, graphs. However, it will be slowly to reach. So if you want to host your website here in China, you need to have a Chinese Internet Content Provider license, what is promoted by the MIIT. So what is the MIIT? It is the Ministry of Industry Technology of the People's Republic of China. You see here the web link. Here you can apply for your own Chinese internet website. Don't forget, this website is only in a Chinese version, so you must be able to speak Chinese, or you need to have some Chinese employees who can do this for you. Otherwise, you will not be successful to register this kind of website. Also, if you operate here at the internet, you need to have a special license. And we have in China two types of ICP license. One is the ICP license for non-operator internet information services, and second is the ICP license for commercial ICPs that are for companies who primarily conduct business online. So if you do e-commerce in China, for sure the commercial ICP license is important for you. According to Article 8, here you have the definition what is important for the operational internal information service, and what kind of regulations here you need to follow. Special for commercial ICPs, it is not easy at all. You need also to have a Chinese-owned business with a Chinese business license. That is kind of important. And that is not the biggest issue. The biggest problem here is that you cannot do it only as a kind of joint venture company where you hold more or less than 50% of the company stocks. So you will be never the majority shareholder here. At this reason, it is very important to find a trustable and good Chinese partner with that you can work together in the future to run here your commercial online business. Here you see that are the following steps, what you need to check to get the license. You have the official website here, and you need to provide them a scan of your business license, passport, and so on. Then you have the approval, and then you see that you can get maybe your ICP license. So even to go here over the kind of platforms, you see every foreign platform have also a pendant here in China, like LinkedIn or like Google with Baidu. You have pendant to Twitter with Weibo. You have UQ, what is the pendant to YouTube. So you need to know if you normally do commercials and use a channel like YouTube, you will not reach the Chinese customers. First, YouTube is blocked in China. Second is the most Chinese consumers, even if they use VPN, what is not allowed in China for private issues, they would use UQ to look their videos. So you need to know where you are present here with your commercial activities. At this reason, you really need to fit also all kind of standards. Very important are here the Internet Service Standards called ISPS, right? And these are service norms for e-commerce trading platforms. These regulations are also issued in additional to them in 2014. So you see it's getting more and more difficult during the last couple of years with the kind of regulations. The government will be increasingly policing and taking action against ISPs and internet business for non-compliant behavior. So you need to be careful what you are doing there at your platforms. Also be aware that the secondary liability of intellectual property rights and infringement are here under observing of the Chinese law and the Chinese government. So that means if you run an online platform and somebody plays here fake products, you are responsible to take these products out of your online shop and to punish the sellers. If you don't do that, you get in trouble with the Chinese law. So that means you are liable for the copyright infringements. You see, for mostly these both points are here the most important one. No? Think about it always, keyword infringement, then you know that you are really reliable to observe all this kind of activities on your platforms. Yeah, then you have also two kind of differences, two kind of different types of telecommunication businesses. You have first the basic telecommunication business, what include mobile internet, telephony and data service, satellite communications, satellite mobile communication service, internet and other public data transformations. And second, you have the value-added telecoms, included emails, voicemail, online storage, and so on. So, according to the administration's measures of the licensing of the telecommunication business operations, also here, as a foreign company, you only can hold 49% of the shares. Your partner will also hold here 51, so plus, so it is also here quite important to find the right joint venture partner. Yeah, to the measures for the administration of the telecommunication business licensing, you see here downstairs. The requirement here are much higher. Especially the registered capital should not lower as 100 million RMB. So that means if you really are interesting to join the communication business in China, it is a big burden and you must do a substantial investment in China. That are the next steps. What you need to take, right? It's a written application for the operating of business of the telecom, then the counterpart and copy of the enterprise legal person, permit, profile of the company, latest annual financial statements and enterprise of the legal person, business development study report, what is quite important and what you also normally cannot do alone. Also for this you should engage an expert, because also this kind of business development report is not so easy to issue. Then you need to prepare your articles of association, and then you have the guarantee of measures for network and information savvy, and then nearly you got your telecommunication business. So here you see also one keyword what is quite important, that is FETS. It's a licensing prohibited from lending or making available their FETS license to foreigners. Here it is, I think, a quite difficult step for every foreign company to act in accordance to this kind of regulations. Let's come in general to the possibilities for the logistics. You have one time the option of direct shipping, and second is you have the option of bounded warehouses. Bounded warehouses getting more and more popular here in China. The sexy thing is if you send your goods to the bounded warehouses and later you send it directly from there to the customers, you make a bow about the customer's service regulations, and it is in fact much more easier for you to do it. Here I listed off the differences between bounded warehouses and direct shipping. Like I said, the main difference is for the importers that they can suspend the import tax if they use the vehicle of a bounded warehouse. And yeah, that is also here mostly the vehicle for the B2B and BC business, and the direct shipping is B2C. Yeah, you can also see that we need to keep care here also on the transition period. Don't forget, we talk over this as a begin. The transition period will be at the end of this year. So after this, also this kind of regulations will be different. Let's coming to the final considerations. I think very important is to be successful here on the market is that you are getting familiar with Chinese people and with the Chinese market, with their consumption habit, and also to see your potential customers of the future. Take a look about the territory where you act, the consumer preferences, and the consumer by themselves. If you want to set up a telecommunication business, an app company, or an online store, then please take a look about the owner structure. Be careful that if you set up an app, for example, that you need to have a joint venture partner, that you can run it only with a joint venture company. So be careful that you are already found a joint venture partner before you start here with your activities, because it is never a good idea to find a Chinese joint venture partner on the last minute. It is a quite long-term process. Everybody who runs a joint venture company here in China will you tell this. Also, please take attention to all laws and regulations in this field. All of them will change quite a lot also during the next months and years. So what we saw here today, it's the present status quo, but be aware, a lot of them will be changed in the near future. It is quite difficult to give a forecast in what kind of direction we will move here. And at this reason, it is always important to engage here professional advisors. Not only legal professionals for the legal framework, but also professionals for the Chinese market and for the Chinese consumers. If you try to enter the Chinese market alone, even if you have a good product, you will not be successful. So thank you very much for your kind audience, and I hope we had an interesting speech here today for you.
Thank you, Daniel, for this very comprehensive and very interesting presentation. What we learned from this training today is that there are plenty of opportunities for European SMEs in the Chinese market, especially using the channel of cross-border e-commerce. However, there are plenty also of challenges that need to be overcome. And for this, as Daniel has pointed, it's better to be ready, and in this case, you should check with a legal professional or a consultant, or you also have the experts of the EU SME Center that can help you. If you have any questions regarding this training, please contact us or send us an email to training@usmecenter.org.cn, and we will pass the questions to Mr. Daniel Albrecht, and he will kindly reply to your questions. I'm sure that there are many questions. I myself have several after this training, and I'm sure that he will receive a lot, and he will be happy to answer to you. And finally, also we would like to remind you that we have related trainings and publications. For example, we have a training on how to sell your food and beverage products online in China, and here you have the links of the 3 models, and also we have a publication on new rules on China's cross-border e-commerce, where you can also download this latest publication. And I would also advise you or recommend you to keep an eye on the website of the EU SME Center, because this is a very vibrant sector, the e-commerce. There are changes all the time, as Daniel has pointed, and the EU SME Center is always keeping an eye on this, and you will find plenty of publications, articles, and trainings on, for example, WeChat. And that's all for today, and thank you very much for taking part in this webinar.